Hi, I'm Macy.
And I'm Missy.
We're best friends
and business partners. And each week, we're going to bring you a quote that inspires us, and we're going to talk about it.
Join us as we break down our favorite impactful messages for leadership and share how you can apply them to lead with confidence and purpose.
Get ready for a fun and authentic journey into leadership, life, and everything in between. Well, hey, bestie.
Hey, bestie. Hey, I've got a question for you.
Okay.
And I know the answer, but I'm going to ask anyway. Have you ever noticed that two people can sit through the exact same meeting and walk away with completely different interpretations of what was said?
Yes, all the time. Like one person thinks, great, let's get started. Another thinks like, wait, are we changing everything?
And that's usually you saying, great, let's get started. And me saying, wait, are we changing everything? And then the leader is typically saying wait, did everyone hear the same thing? Did we all hear the same message?
Yeah, I think it's something that almost all our clients face, and also companies in general are dealing with that right now. And I'm really excited for this week's conversation. I believe it's going to be an eye-opener to so many people.
Yeah, I think what we're going to talk about today has been such a challenge. We've been hearing it for a while, so we wanted to bring an expert who's going to help us break this down. So we want to welcome this week Kelly Lippenholz. So welcome to the show.
Welcome, Kelly.
Hello, friends. How are you?
We're great.
Good. We're glad you're here.
Yes, we are excited. So go ahead, Kelly. Tell our listeners or share some things about you. What do you want our listeners to know about Kelly?
So, okay, great. I'm Kelly Lippenholz, and I'm a former educator. And I also worked in the nonprofit industry. And when I was working in the nonprofit industry, I led a lot of Gen Z students.
Yeah.
And I also was a teacher. So I taught a lot of young people as well. And that led me to wanting to speak on communication and multi-generational workplace. So I'm a speaker, trainer, and coach, and I mostly specialize in communication skills and the DISC and multi-generational workforce.
Yeah, I mean, this is listeners, buckle up.
Yes.
This is a hot topic. This is a lot of companies are struggling with it.
Yeah, we hear it all the time. And this week's quote, it's almost like one of those duh, but it's powerful because so many people are struggling with this in today's workforce, as you just said. So here it is. Each person tends to bring their personal mindset with them to work, which is why an employer can say one thing and a teammate from a different generation can hear something else entirely. And that's from our friend Tim Elmore.
Yeah, and it is like a duh, right?
It is like a duh, of course.
Two people, different generations, and they're hearing something else. So Kelly, Missy, let's talk about it. When you hear this quote, Kelly, what stands out to you the most?
I think what stands out is, where is it in there? Bring with you to work. We bring things to work, right? We bring a lot of things to work. And some of those things we might be unaware of. We bring a family origin and a way that our family handled conflict. We bring different values and perspectives. We bring different paradigms for life and work and rest and balance. We bring all of this with us and we don't even know it. And what occurs to me the most is, I don't know, I'm Gen X, so I'm not gonna reveal your ages, but I am Gen X.
Yes, we're Gen X.
Okay, we were told to leave all your crap at home, right?
Yeah.
Leave your personal stuff at home when you come to work. And I feel like Gen Z has been told, bring your whole self to work, right?
Yes.
Feel your feelings in the workplace.
Yeah. Yeah. And that creates just that one little thing creates a huge gap, right?
Wait, I have to tell you something really funny. Missy, I haven't even shared this with you, but there's this meme or whatever. I don't know when it's a video, if it's still considered a meme, but it's this kid walking, I say maybe he was a young adult, walking through a doorway, and he hits the doorway and it says, when a baby boomer hits the doorway, and the guy's like in the doorway's face. Right. And then when a Gen X walks in the doorway and he like sticks up his fist to the doorway. And then when a millennial walks in, but then the Gen Z walks into the door, like literally the Gen Z, and he like falls on the floor and starts having this like major tantrum. Like it's the doorway's
It's the
problem.
door's
Like,
fault.
it's the
Oh my
door's
gosh.
fault. And it was such a powerful image because I think that's what's happening. Exactly what Kelly said, right? We all bring something to the situation, and it is usually generational.
Yeah. And also, many organizations have the baby boomers, Gen X, millennials, and Gen Z all working
Yes,
together. And
right.
so you've got a lot of different things they're bringing. And so, Kelly, why do you think that this has become such a challenge for leaders with everybody in the workplace together?
Yeah, it's a great question because we've always had different generations in the workplace, right?
Mhm.
Like my first boss was a boomer, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But I think that it is such an issue now, if I can call it an issue, the friction that's there is there because a couple reasons. One, I think social media has just
Hmm.
changed how we interact. And then the other thing I would say is just like how quickly technology changes, how
Mhm.
Mm.
fast it changes, and young people are kind of up on that, they're like always up to speed, and the older generations are doing things the way they know how to do things, and then there's all
Almost
these new ways.
resisting that new technology, right? Like,
Well, yeah,
no,
because you
like,
got to learn
yeah,
it, right?
yeah.
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
just think the gap is wider now because of those couple things, and there's probably a ton of other reasons too.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it sounds like what you're saying is that it's not necessarily like a generational issue, but there's deeper things. Like it's not just about you were born between this year and this year. There's
Right.
things
Like who
that go,
decided those years anyway?
yeah, but it sounds like there could be deeper things. You mentioned earlier, like the Gen Z or the Gen X were like, leave your stuff behind, but Gen X is like, no, I'm going to bring it in, right? The
Yeah.
Yeah.
millennials are a lot
Yeah.
about, passion and purpose and what's the point and why are we here? It's almost like, and again, I don't know off the top of my head like the age brackets, but like the millennials are a lot like the hippies, right? Like
Mm.
they want to feel good, but they're different generations. So it's not really a generational issue if you
Yeah,
think
I
about it in
mean,
that regard.
I think there's probably too much that affects how we interact to say that this is a generational issue, right? Because there's
Yeah.
too many
Yeah.
other things that come into play.
Yeah.
I think what the generational research is saying is that there are certain things that happened in the first 20 years of our lives that really shaped us. And so, if we're going
Mm,
to take Gen Z as an example, we would obviously choose COVID, right? That shaped them.
Yes.
And what they learned during COVID is there was so much talk about mental health. I'm sure you remember
Oh, yes.
loneliness and anxiety and
depression.
depression. Yes. And so it really normalized that conversation for them. So for them to
Mm,
go up to their boss and say, I have a therapy appointment tomorrow, I need off, is totally normal. Whereas I would never have said
never.
that to my boss.
Right.
Right.
I
That
wouldn't
is
even tell
such an
anyone I
awesome
had
point.
therapy.
Right. That's a good,
That
yeah.
is a
I like
great
that lens.
example.
Let me give you a Gen X one because we're
Okay,
Okay.
Gen X.
great.
Okay.
Okay.
So what was our big event that shaped us?
9/11.
9/11.
Okay, I don't think it was because it's during our first 20 years of
Oh,
life.
first
Okay.
20.
So we were like 30-ish at 9/11, right?
Yeah.
28.
Yeah.
So during the first 20 years of our life, the
I was just
the
going to say,
space
yep, the
Yeah.
shuttle.
space shuttle.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when that exploded, I was watching it with the whole school in
Me
the
too.
library,
Sure.
right? Watching it
Hmm.
live. And then it explodes seconds later. And you're like, was that supposed to happen? And the
Yeah.
teachers, all the teachers react physically and they're crying. And then we're shuttled back to our classroom within a couple minutes. And the teacher's like, okay, let's have our math test.
Yeah, I was just going to say, and then never
Yes,
to be
you
talked about
bury
again.
it.
Like we
Very
never
That
talked
is
about it.
so fascinating.
And
never
also, I
talked
would say
about
the
it.
generation before us, it was JFK assassination. Like it
That's right.
almost seems like
Right.
every generation has like a big thing.
That's
Like the
right.
boomers had the recession, right? Then
Yes.
JFK, then the space shuttle, then 9/11. Like,
That's right.
that's crazy.
And
Just
each of those things shaped you when you were 10 years old. If you learned, like, oh, we don't pause for traumatic things, we just go take a math test. Let's just keep moving.
Yeah,
Wow.
that is huge. Just a sidebar on that. I had a teacher, there was that was
The
the first
teacher.
teacher
Yeah,
in
yeah.
space. And one of my
Christine
teachers
McCullough,
was
right?
but my physics and algebra teacher was one of the top
On the
five chosen
list.
and was there. And so it was huge at our
Wow.
school.
Wow.
It's such a memory of my life
Mhm.
and learning about taking risks. And
But
I
I
can
think it's,
remember
go ahead.
talking to my teacher and her saying that if she could have been on there, even knowing that, she would have done it. So, isn't that
Um,
interesting that how we experience those type of things change how you
mm,
think and how we think differently? Because
yeah.
for me, it wasn't swept under the rug. It was something we talked
Oh,
about and
wow. Hmm.
appreciated the risk. So
And
I
I think going to Kelly's point, like your example, obviously, Miss, is much different because you had someone, right? We were
right,
just watching it when they pulled in the TV, right? And they plugged it into the wall.
Right.
right.
Um,
Rolled it
but
in.
that that exact point of like we just show up regardless of the situation and we do our job,
That's
that's
right.
how our generation shows up to the workplace.
Yes.
Like
We
That's
your
right.
power
parent
through.
dies, your parent dies, you don't take bereavement. You show up to work the next day and you're in it. Whereas
Yeah.
the millennials and the Gen Zs, like they're taking an extended bereavement because they're so in touch with their feelings. Like all of this is it's just
Yeah.
crazy
Yeah.
how it
So
really
good.
Yeah.
does
But I mean, to
shape.
your point for the question, is it something deeper? Yes, absolutely. I think it all comes down to understanding and
Hmm.
connection.
Yeah,
Yeah,
agreed
everything comes back to connection.
for
All
Doesn't
right,
it?
us.
Yeah.
Kelly. So let me ask you this. What are some of the biggest misconceptions that generations tend to have about one another?
So I think I hope that this podcast does not come off as a like bashing Gen Z or Gen Z is the problem. It's not.
Right.
They're entering the workforce right now, so it is something that everybody is talking about and
Yeah.
asking for some help with. So I'm going to use a Gen Z example, and I think
Okay.
one of the biggest misconceptions that I think managers have right now is that they want it. Okay, so they want to be independent, right? Like they have agency. They want
Yeah.
to come in and make impact immediately. They want a voice immediately. You hear that all the time from them, right? Why am I not in that meeting? I should be in that
Hmm.
meeting too. And so I think I think managers think that they don't need so much supervision. They don't want supervision. They'll say, I don't need a boss. I just need like a mentor to answer
Right.
a couple questions. Like,
Right.
I don't really need a boss. And so, but that doesn't mean they don't need support and encouragement. And I
And
think,
leadership. I mean, they need
right,
leadership.
that's the big gap. It's just how do we do leadership instead of telling them you have to do it this way and
Yes.
you have to be in the office 5 days a week and we have to have face-to-face meetings every single day or all those whatever. Yes, you can have some non-negotiables, but there has to be some flexibility in the how
Yeah.
Yes.
they're
Yeah.
doing
Yeah.
I
things.
think too, a lot of the older workforce thinks that the younger workforce is lazy. And
Yes.
I don't necessarily see that. Like Missy and
I
I
don't agree with
train
that at all.
young leaders, and a lot of those young leaders are hungry and they
Yes.
work
Yes.
hard. Sometimes
Yes.
they work harder than the older folks because they're so young, they have to prove themselves
They're proving themselves.
and they're
Yes.
not thinking of retirement. Like a lot of the older folks, like they've got one foot out the door because they're just trying to get to retirement, where
Yep.
these younger folks, like they just need to be led differently.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
So,
need to be led differently. And I think I was just talking with a contact of mine on LinkedIn, and he's a brilliant HR guy. he was talking about how everybody, all the learning around Gen Z is accommodating them. Let's accommodate them. Oh, they
Mm,
demand to stay
Mhm.
home. They demand bereavement time, right? And he was just like he's sitting back in his chair while I was talking to him, and I was just like learning from him because he
yeah.
leads next generation for the last 20 years. He brings in new people at an accounting firm, the big accounting firms, and onboards them and leads them their first couple years. And he sat back in his chair and he's like, it's so simple. Stop accommodating them and challenge them. And I was just blown away.
I
Oh,
love that.
And what he meant by challenge specifically was just be super clear about what the result is and then
And
send them on their
let them
way.
on their way.
yes.
Yeah, I love that because I think clarity, Missy and I talk a lot about clarity, especially on LinkedIn. That's kind of been our focus is just because you say something and you understand it doesn't mean they say something and they understand it, which really brings to a question like, why then does the same message land so differently depending on who's hearing it? Why do
Wow.
you think that happens, Kelly?
Well, if we're sticking to the generational
Yeah.
conversation, I mean, there's lots of reasons why I wouldn't, but if we're sticking to the generational issue at hand, then I would say it's because each generation, again, learned in their first 20 years to value something different.
Mm.
Mm,
Gen Z learned to value flexibility and balance. Oh, you want to come to school 2 days a week? Okay. Well, you want to stay home from school 5 days a week during COVID? You can stay home. Oh, you want to come? Do you see? Like they learned that they
Yes.
get to choose. And so they value flexibility and balance. And
yeah.
then the millennials value, like you said, Macy, purpose and growth and collaboration. They want meaning. Gen X values independence and autonomy. I feel like a perfect
Yes.
example of that. Leave
Me
me
too.
alone. Let me do
Don't
my
want
Leave
to
me
work.
be
alone. Yeah.
micromanaged.
No, that's the worst. And then boomers value loyalty and
And work ethic.
stability and structure. And so you can see how Gen Z is valuing flexibility and balance, and the boomers, the older generation, in their workplace and on their team is valuing structure. They're the
Right.
exact opposite of each other.
Yeah.
Yes. And
It's almost
just
like
butting
we're
heads.
speaking different languages, right?
We
I did
are.
this
Right.
experiment. Remember
Yes.
a couple of years ago, Missy, I did the experiment with my older son Jake, where I said, "Okay, I'm going to ask you things,
Oh,
like
yeah. The
things that
social
were,
media. It was a
things that,
trend.
yeah, things that are that when we were growing up, like what's three-way calling?" And like he would give his definition of three-way calling. I'm like, what are you even talking about? Or like
Yeah.
the only one I think he got was banana clip, but like they don't even know what that stuff is because it's not
Mhm.
important. It's we're speaking a totally different language. I mean, I often the boys will say something and I have to go to Urban Dictionary to find out, well, what does that really
Yes.
mean?
Well, I have a funny story. Not long ago, I was just recently actually with my youngest son and his wife, and it was June 7th. And so I had seen it on my phone, and I was like, y'all, today is 6/7. It's 6/7.
Oh, and that's
And
like so over.
and they were so
More,
cringe
yeah, they were so
that
cringe.
I was saying that. And I thought I was connecting with them, but we did end up having a good laugh. But definitely that message didn't land so great with
Right. In
them.
your
And
head, you're
then
like,
my
oh my God, I
husband
can do
had
something to
no
connect.
clue.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
And
like, I'm
so,
doing something to connect with them. And they're like, Mom, that's so like
yeah.
Yeah.
last
So
year.
you could say that was a mistake. So, Kelly, I'll segue into a question like, what are some communication mistakes that leaders make when they're trying to manage that multi generational workplace? Trying to be cool.
Trying to be cool is a mistake.
I
It's a
know. And I
big
made it with
mistake.
my kid.
Millennials and Gen Zs can sniff out inauthentic
Yes.
interactions like a bloodhound. Like it's
Mhm.
you just have to be yourself. But I think what mistake are they making in communication specifically? Let
I
me
was
think about
thinking assumptions. Like we just assume they're doing the thing that they're doing rather than being curious about it.
And I
Yeah,
would
I
also
mean,
say,
yeah,
just to kind of piggyback on that too, if we're talking specifically communication, it goes back to kind of the example you just gave, like using language that we think, right? Like I, I mean, I'm going to embarrass myself right now, but like Netflix and chill means something very different to me than it really is,
yeah.
right? So it's not appropriate for me to tell my kids, hang out with your girlfriend, just do Netflix and chill. Like, that's not appropriate. Like,
Nope.
Somebody's going right now to check Urban Dictionary to see
yeah,
what the
it's probably,
most
it's
recent.
probably, my mother is probably like, what do you mean Netflix and chill is a good thing, right? So I think in communication, it's goes back to that clarity piece of,
Yeah.
are those the right words to be
Mm,
Mm.
using? And like
Yeah,
making
I
sure we have a
think
common understanding of the words.
there's definitely a different language. And so that's tough. I don't really know how you solve that one, but I do think, Missy, that you were hitting it when you said being curious. And so can we just, if I had to leave one piece of advice for a manager, here's what I would say. Can you please pause and ask a question?
Mm,
yes.
I am not a pauser. I am a reactor. And so I react immediately. And so for
sure.
me to pause and say, oh, tell me more about that. Say more about
Yes.
that. That takes a ton of energy for me. But
Same.
my leadership and my influence over my team changed dramatically when I was able to do that, which I didn't learn until I was like well into my 40s, which is why I want to teach young people now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I love that. Kelly, you work with a lot of organizations. What do you see that organizations do well when it comes to creating unity across the different generations? Like what works inside of an organization?
That's a great question. I think there's probably a lot of different things that work, but what I have seen work best is giving the very clear expectations early and often.
Mm,
Mm,
And so, like, and now we could get into personality styles, right? So on the disc, I'm an I, and I's really want to be liked.
mhm.
mhm.
It's how we're wired. It's not, I used to think it was a flaw. Like, God, am I so insecure? No,
I know. I'm
this
an
is
I
how I'm
too, Kelly.
wired. Yes. This is how we're wired. And so I'm always tiptoeing. Like, if you're a manager right now that's tiptoeing around any other generation, that's a yellow flag for uh-oh, you got to get clear with people. You've got to find a way to be clear. Put it in writing, or it's okay to go into a meeting and read something so that you make sure you say everything you want to say and you get really clear. But that I would say that's probably the what people are doing right is when from hiring to first 90 days to first 6 months to first year, they're just so clear about the expectations and they're great question askers.
Mm.
Mm,
Which
yeah.
is interesting because I'm a high C, so C's are great question askers.
Yes, you
Yes, you
are.
are.
And I's are not the best question askers. So it's also, I think, really understanding, and this is why we all three love disc so much,
Yeah.
really understanding who am I and who's the other person and how do I as a this need to communicate to the other person who's a this. So it's so multi-leveled, right? It's not just
Yes.
generation. Generation really
Mhm.
comes down to just the year that they were born, if we want to say that, right? You're put in a box, but disc can help you get them outside of a box. It's so
Yeah.
multi-leveled. Wow, that's like a
Well,
big aha.
like if
Yeah.
you did disc with a multi-generational team, it's the coolest thing ever because then you get a boomer and a Gen Z who are in the same corner and they're like, "Oh, me
Yes.
too. I'm that. I
Yeah.
communicate like that
And
too."
there's connection.
Correct.
Oh, yeah.
Like a
All right.
bonding moment.
Kelly, so around here, we like to keep it real. So, what
Okay.
is one practical action that leaders could take this week to
Hmm.
improve communication across generations?
I would say, did you ask if managers, what can managers do to
Yeah, like
improve
what can a
Yeah.
leader
communication?
do
Yeah.
this
What can
week?
a
Like
leader
what's
do?
something like if they're listening right now and they want to
Mhm.
take action, what's something that they can act on right now?
I want to say instead of telling another employee what to do, ask questions and let them
Yeah.
discover. the answer. Learning doesn't happen when you tell someone something. Learning does not happen. Learning happens when they discover something.
Yeah.
So good.
And I want to add to that. I think they need to figure out what disc style everybody is inside their company. I think disc is so powerful.
It's a game changer.
It really is. And I think that this is a great transition into our big takeaway for the week. When generational conflict shows up at work, the answer usually isn't a policy, a process, a procedure, a meeting.
Right.
It's exactly what both Missy and Kelly have said many times. It's curiosity. You know, great leaders stop assuming and they start asking questions. And the more you understand how people think, what they value, what experiences shaped them, the better you're going to be able to lead them.
I completely agree. Generational insights can be helpful, but people are more than the generation they belong to. And the best leaders don't lead boomers or Gen X's or millennials or Gen Z. They lead individuals.
Yes.
And when you focus on, understanding the person instead of trying to label them, communication is going to improve, trust grows, teams perform better. I mean, it comes down to that. So, well, Kelly, thank you so much. If our listeners want to stay in touch with you, how can they do that?
So I have a website. My website is www.kellylippenholz.com. The spelling of Lippenholz is a little tricky, so
we'll have it in our show notes.
Yeah, we're going to put it in the show notes with a direct link.
Great. So kellylippenholz.com. And on my website, I have a great free gift for you. It's a tool, a diagnostic tool. It's just a 10-question survey, if you will, of scoring yourself on how you're doing leading Gen Z. And so you can kind of score yourself. And then if you want to jump on a call with me for free, we can talk about your score. And then also I'm on LinkedIn, Kelly Lippenholz on LinkedIn. So I'd be happy. I love to talk, obviously. So I'm happy to connect with anyone who would like to chat.
Fantastic.
Kelly, this is a question that we ask all of our guests. What is your favorite leadership quote?
Okay. Well, I really love Ryan Leake.
We do too.
We do too.
Okay. I've seen him speak a bunch of times. His topic on how to work with complicated people is my favorite topic to talk about. And so I'm going to quote Ryan Leake, and it's short. It's a short quote, and it's just about interpersonal interactions. Don't match the energy, set the standard.
Oh, say it again. Say it again.
Okay. As humans, we mirror other people, right?
Sure.
Yes.
So here's the quote. Don't match the energy, set the standard.
Oh my gosh, that's so good.
That might be an episode.
I know. I was just thinking that, Macy.
Yeah.
And listeners, do you have a favorite leadership quote? Send it our way and we may spotlight it on a future episode.
And we'll be back next week with more leadership insights and another quote. And you know what we're going to do? We're going to talk about it.
Bye, Kelly.
Bye, Kelly.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye, bestie.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you for listening. If you're enjoying this show, please show us some love by clicking the 3 dots to download the podcast, leave us a 5-star rating on your podcast app, and talk about it with other leaders to help them find the show from any of the major podcast apps. We'd love for you to follow us on social media too. Mpactful with an M _ messages on Instagram and Mpactful Messages on LinkedIn.